Thank you all for coming along tonight, and this is the penultimate rally of our campaign. In fact, it's the 98th event we've done since the campaign started in June as our campaign surrounding the leadership of the Labour Party, and it's a campaign that has gone to all parts of Britain. As Katie explained, we've been in Scotland, we've been in Wales, we've been in Northern Ireland, we were in Dublin, we were in Belfast, we're also in Brussels and of course all parts of England. And the first hustings of the campaign was in fact the Newsnight hustings that was held here in Nuneaton. And I thought it was a good idea and appropriate that we should end the campaign here as well, because the people of Nuneaton were mostly denied tickets to the Newsnight hustings. In fact, I think there were only about 100 or 200 tickets or something given out. A lot of people clearly wanted to come in. And also we were told that these are parts of Britain that Labour cannot ever win back. I beg to differ on those issues, and I'll explain why in a moment. But I also want to say a couple of things about our campaign and why we entered this. We lost the election in May. We lost the election in very bad circumstances, and the majority of people in this country are going to be worse off because of this Conservative government. The majority of young people are going to be considerably worse off, and those people working in the public sector are certainly going to suffer a great deal. And at the end of 5 years of this government, if they remain unchallenged, we will live in a much more deeply unequal society than we have at the present time. There will be an increased number of multi-millionaires in Britain, and there will be an increased number of people sleeping rough, sleeping on our streets and pass by on the other side, because that is the whole political agenda they are following. Our defeat in the election was sad, was tragic, and in part our manifesto contained some very good stuff. But the problem was we'd accepted the agenda of austerity, we'd accepted the agenda of cuts in public services, of an arbitrary date to move into budget surplus because of the banking crisis of 2008. Who caused the banking crisis of 2008? Was it the care workers? Was it the teachers? Was it the street cleaners? Was it young people who had lost their EMA? Was it education expenditure where there's been cuts after cuts after cuts for local government? No. It was caused by deregulation, it was caused by excessive profits of those banks, and it was caused by excessive salaries of bank executives, and it was caused by their ability to shuffle large sums of money around from one dodgy investment to another, from one tax haven to another. And we all paid the price as a result of it. The lack of regulation of the banks brought about that crisis, that brought about the need to bring them into public ownership, that brought about the need to put in £385 billion of money called quantitative easing to keep the economy afloat. All of that was necessary, but what was wrong was the public ownership of the banks was limited to shareholding being held by a government-owned company, and Osborne is now selling off those shares in RBS at a loss, as he proposed to sell off all the other bank shares. My view is those shares should not be sold, and my view is also that any other public assets that are sold off undervalued and at a loss, we need to look again at that when we go into office in 2020 and get the money back where services, where facilities, where capital investments have been disposed of below value, because it's theft from the public purse by a government that is keen on handing things over to people in the city to make even more money out of. It's not this.